Charlie Bravo here. So we are continuing our project, working on Pt2. We're going to do a wraparound style holster, taco style holster, if you will. This one for a light bearing gun. In addition, it also has a taller sights and it also has a threaded barrel. So last week I talked about some of the problems, some of the trials and things like that, some of the issues I'm going to have with this. And I actually had a comment that whoever I'm making this for probably feels, kind of bad because it's so difficult. Now, yes, I was complaining. That's just kind of what I was doing. But it is going to be difficult, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I kind of enjoy the challenge a little bit. So, no big deal, really. We're going to work through those problems, and I just, trying to increase the drama, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But anyway, so today we're going to block everything off and get everything set up, and we're going to actually try to do the pressing on this. And we're going to use this right here. This is a 80 thousandths black carbon fiber print type of, this is Holstex, not Kydex. It's just a different brand name. I actually prefer the Holstex, I think. I think it just is a little bit better product, if you ask me. It also has a finish on the inside. It's not smooth and shiny. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has somewhat of a finish on there. So I really like that a lot. Okay, so we already had some blocking material. We had blocking material for our sight channel. We also have some blocking material. This is to allow us to have some tension points so we can have a 1/2 inch, rubber spacers in there to allow us to tighten it up. But also, it's going to let us wrap around all this without it distorting and things like that, because it's not going to have to, conform as far in. It's only going to have to, go until it can reach that 1/2 inch spacer there. I talked about the light channel, and I talked about using PVC, and here I have some PVC from a previous project. I don't know if you can see it on there or not. It does have a little bit of distortion from the heat. And so I did a little research and found out that PVC will start to soften at about that 200 degree mark. Just a little bit less than 200 degrees. It'll start to get a little bit soft. Well, I'm working with materials, the Holstex here. We're talking in the 320-ish range. So it definitely is going to transfer some heat to this and possibly cause us some problems. I found another material here. This one is polypropylene, and doing the research on that, it should start to soften at about the 300 degree mark. So a lot closer. I think, with that heat transferring over, I think we'll actually be okay. Additionally, I don't know if you can see it on there, but this is nearly twice as thick as well. The polypropylene is quite a bit thicker material than the PVC. So I'm hoping all of that will make it a lot more rigid, less likely to distort. It has some, little, I don't know what you'd call them, almost flutes on there on the outside. A little bit more rigid again. You will see that through the material when I press it. I think you're going to see it a little bit, no problem. Honestly, it's just going to make it look a little bit more interesting, if you ask me. So we're going to get that on there. We also have some little aluminum. They're covered in blue tape so we don't scratch anything up. Obviously, blue gun I don't really care about, but that is just to allow us to block out our slide as well as our ejection port on the right-hand side there. We're going to get that into place. We're going to block out some of these controls. I've been thinking about it. I really don't want to use the controls for that retention point. I don't want to use that at all. I just worried that it's going to start to scrape off material, possibly scrape off some of or start to wear on the finish of the handgun itself. So I really don't want to do that. We're going to try to make this work, though. Hopefully we can make this work out, and it's going to work out just fine. So we're going to get all this done, and then we're going to get it out, hopefully get this thing pressed. Okay, so here we have it. Got it all taped up. That took a while. Lots of stuff to block off there. So I think we're good though. It doesn't even really resemble a handgun anymore so much, other than the part sticking out. So we're going to get this put in the press, heat it up, the material, and get it all molded out. And hopefully we can get to that point today. Okay, so we're going to get our material, get it in the toaster oven, keep track of the temperature. We got a digital thermometer here that we're going to use. We got 1-inch foam. I'd like to put a t-shirt over it just so it doesn't stick to it. I think you get a little bit better definition without it, but I still like to use it. Let's get that in there. Well, it should only take a couple of minutes, and that's it. If you're leaving it for 5 minutes or longer, there's something wrong, because you're either going to ruin your material or your temperature isn't hot enough. Some people say they like to heat it up slowly. I like to turn the heat on, let the oven heat up to temperature, and then do it, because my toaster oven, while it's heating, it actually heats up higher than it needs to be. So I have it, set to like 340, but it's going to heat up to almost 500 while it's in the heating up process. So I don't like doing that at all, because my material gets too hot. So I'm not going to do it that way. Okay, we're already in the 270s, high 60s. So high 260s, low 270s. We're already getting close. I don't know if you saw in the material, but I drew a couple of lines, and that is a 1/2 inch wide, and that's kind of to guide my sight channel here. I'm still probably going to just lay it down like this and then fold this over it, but I just want to try to get it centered as much as possible. All right, we're getting there. Looks like we're in the we're in the low 3s until I opened it up, so we're getting right where we need to be. I'm going to heat this material probably 315, 320, somewhere in there. If I go a little bit over that, it's okay. A little bit under that, it's okay. I think that's, for me, that's the sweet zone, is probably in that 315, 320. I do like it a little bit hotter for thicker material, but for this, I think that's pretty good. And we are right at where we need to be. A bit too high up. Okay, now we're just going to let it sit. And let it sit and wait. I'm not going to turn the toaster oven off, because if we screwed something up, we can always put it back in there and reheat the material. So until I get it right, I want to leave the toaster oven on just in case. But it looks pretty good, so we're going to get everything done. It's really tight in through here. It's still plenty of space to put some screws in, but it's just barely enough space there. So we're going to get this thing all finished up, get some screws put in it and all that kind of stuff, and come back and we'll check it out. All right, so here's what we ended up with. We got it all pressed. It actually looks pretty decent. We didn't get any warpage on the front like I was worried about. The blocking material for the light seems to have worked pretty decently. It didn't warp at all. The heat didn't really affect it or anything like that. Now, there is one spot that I'm kind of worried about, and it has nothing to do with the blocking, which is where I thought the problem was going to come in. The problem is I didn't leave myself enough extra. Now, I normally go way extra, way larger than I need, just so I don't have to worry about that. I had this piece. It looked like it was the right size, and it is really, really close right through here, because I need this to put some tension screws in here. So hopefully it's enough to work out, because it has to look good too. So that, you got to have some border around those screw points, or it just doesn't look right. So hopefully this will work out just fine. We're going to press forward and hope that it does. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to cut a new piece of material a little bit longer. I should be able to salvage this for something if that happens. So not too big of a deal other than time. So, but be sure to come back next week. We're going to draw our pattern on there and get everything done. And hopefully we'll finish it up. And hopefully we won't have to redo the pressing. So I'm going to leave everything as far as the blocking material. I'm going to leave all that stuff until I make sure, so I don't have to redo it. So anyway, come back next week and see where we're getting on this project. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, it is always appreciated when you like and share. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to see how this project turns out, if I'm going to screw things up, find that subscribe button. It's right down below. Put your crosshairs on it, pull the trigger on your mouse, and then come back next time and see what happens. And remember, your mind, that is your most important weapon, and it's vital to be armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo out.